Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here today. My name is Alex Beamer. I'm the Director of Band and Orchestra here with West Music. We are, ecstatic to have Jason Bartel, Master Luthier, with us today to talk to us about Two River Strings instruments and why those instruments should be in your classroom. We are recording today, so we'll be able to get the recording out to those afterwards so that you can review. If you have any questions, please feel free to either type them in the chat or unmute and go ahead and answer or ask. Without further ado, Jason, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. We're excited for this presentation. We know that this is very timely as school music is ramping back up, and fulfilling those students' needs is a high priority for educators all across the country. In just a few short weeks, West Music will celebrate its 80th birthday. Founded in 1941, West Music moved into its third generation of leadership when Ryan West accepted the role of president. During their time in business, the West family and the West Music team have invested decades of expertise into working with individual educators and statewide school systems. We pride ourselves on not just providing great products and services, but in having passionate people who know what it takes to be a true vendor partner on all levels. We assist from the smallest requests to the largest details across all levels of education. Our goal is to partner with you and your team in reaching out and impacting all students with the power of. This is Kevin Halbrooks, head luthier for West Music. He graduated from Minnesota State Technical College in Red Wing with a long list of degrees in instrument repair and construction. Kevin joined the West Music Orchestral Repair Department in 2011 and has been investing into your orchestral community ever since. His knowledge and expertise ensure that your students will maximize their potential through his repairs for your classroom or through his thorough adjustment of instruments rented or purchased from West Music. Today, we are going to explore the Two Rivers Strings brand offered by West Music. Our goal is to help you understand the assortment of options available and the unique environments and purposes in which they were designed for. These products were designed with you in mind. And when designing instruments that will empower you to educate and empower your students to grow, we started at the classroom and worked backwards from there towards the products that you need. First, we'll look towards the highest impact environments, those beginning orchestral classrooms and new orchestral musicians. The Model 80 and 100 cello and bass were designed with these uses and musicians in mind. With a spec list that includes essentials like an ebony fingerboard or impact-resistant varnish, these products were designed to withstand the unique educational environments of your classrooms. Also important to note, components like strings can always be customized to align with a personal preference if needed. The Model 80 is our full laminate instrument. This is a great choice for high-impact environments and for places where long-term durability and reliability are essential. When you step forward to the Model 100, the laminate top is substituted for a carved top. This hybrid construction helps to enhance the sound, though you should always consider your environment when stepping forward. Carved tops are more susceptible to damage from enthusiastic students or in environments where the climate control might fluctuate frequently or excessively. Both the Model 80 and 100 have one special and unique design element: graduated plywood construction. Laminate instruments are typically a uniform thickness throughout. This is a natural byproduct of a typical laminate construction process. Carved instruments, however, have a variation of thicknesses throughout the top and the back. Here is an image of the inside of a Model 80 top. Utilizing a sanding process, material is removed in the 4 corner bouts, while an additional layer is blended into the middle. This leads to around a 2 to 3 millimeter difference between that thickest and thinnest area, just like you would find in a carved instrument. The graduated plywood element allows the instrument to move to more closely mimic the tonal characteristics of a carved instrument while maintaining the superior durability of laminate construction. Next, both the 80 and 100 feature real inlaid purfling, just like carved instruments. Have you ever asked yourself, how can you tell real versus imitation when looking at purfling on a finished instrument? The easiest way to identify is to look at the grain lines. If you see them break at the purfling, this means that it's a separate piece of wood. But why is that important in a laminate instrument? It's all about breaking up the density at the rib seam. We like to call that differential density. By adding this in, we allow the top and the back plate to move freely and to transfer vibration and tone evenly throughout the instrument. Lastly, these instruments feature great arches. No, not that kind, Alex. Arching is an important element that not only provides strength, but also influences tonal quality. We've worked hard to make sure that our arching enhances both of these valuable aspects. There are also some very important technological advancements with the Two Rivers Strings instruments. All of our cellos and basses designed for your educational environment feature computer-driven block construction. This ensures that the heel of the neck fits perfectly and provides good durability, as well as enhanced protection should an accident happen. You'll also find this technology used on the bottom and the corner blocks. Again, this ensures that these instruments will provide great durability and longevity for your classroom. Next, we have instruments that were designed to intersect affordability and enhanced sound quality. They were designed for environments where playability was important. These are great for advancing students in advanced educational environments. Our solution to this is the Model 200. These instruments were designed with those advanced students in mind. They are entry-level carved instruments and have been very calculated in their design. You'll find the essential elements you need for your classroom. Things like high-quality ebony fingerboards, impact-resistant, spirit varnish, adjustable bass bridges, and popular D'Addario strings, of course. As always, we're happy to adjust components like strings to accommodate any alternative personal preference you might have. Have you ever asked yourself, or have you ever heard of a technical orchestral term called graduation pattern? Many people think that when they look at a violin, a cello, or a bass from the side, that the top and the back thicknesses that they can see from the side are uniform throughout. This is not correct. Tops and backs have areas that are thicker and areas that are thinner. Instruments sound different from each other because they measure differently in these thicknesses and the areas. The graduation pattern allows the top or the back to vibrate and respond very similar to a modern speaker. Here is a graduation pattern presented in a great visual way. In this version, we have a topographical map style, or a heat map style, where each color represents a measurement. In this visual depiction, we can really see where the thick and thin areas are, can't we? Just as a point of reference, the example to your left, those yellow areas measure out at about 2.75 millimeters compared to the blue or the purple that are 4 or 4.5. On the example to our right, our thinnest areas are in the dark red and the thickest are in the light purple. And these areas measure from 1 to 5 millimeters. Now that I've said that, though, I need to go on the record and underline that these are not Two Rivers Strings graduation patterns. 1 millimeter is actually the thickness of a credit card. That is dangerously thin. So these aren't our instruments. Rather, these are just images that I found online to help illustrate that violins are not a uniform thickness and how instruments might differ from one another. This is where rubber meets the road on sound quality. The graduation pattern is the most influential element on how an instrument will sound and perform. Orchestral instruments sound different from each other, primarily because they measure differently from each other. This is not easy. You do need to be a master luthier to do such things. As an entry-level cello, the Model 200 provides an exceptional value in playability. Reason being is that money saved on materials, things like the aesthetic elements of the wood or the shaded varnish application techniques, those savings are redirected into the most influential element. What was that? The graduation pattern, of course. As a result, these cellos are very responsive and robust in their colorful tone, thus empowering your students to grow musically. While the Model 200 bass is a carved construction instrument, it does offer one very unique and valuable feature in your classroom: laminate ribs. Why? Expansion and contraction. Basses are large, and as a result, they can fluctuate considerably with temperature or climate shifts. Can anybody in this call relate? I know that some of you fight this battle in your classroom weekly when the school adjusts their climate for the weekend. Some of you might even battle this every night. This is a real challenge for you. And unfortunately, the administration typically does not understand the impact of these HVAC decisions on your classroom investments. By utilizing laminate construction on the ribs, this limits the expansion potential of this component and thus adds considerable stability to the top and the back. All Two Rivers Strings basses use this technology, and this is a major benefit for you in your classroom. Laminate ribs are worth the price of admission alone on this instrument, but the real jewel with the Model 200 bass is once again in that extremely influential element, the graduation pattern. Dollar for dollar, this bass is the best you will find. The playability of this instrument at the price point in which West Music offers it is unmatched. The Model 200 cellos and basses are purpose-driven, and they were designed to intersect affordability with playability. Money saved on aesthetic elements was reinvested into playability, that graduation pattern. Lastly, we have a cello and bass designed for demanding educational environments and your advanced students. It's important that these students have access to products that will facilitate their growth. The Model 300 is a great choice for your demanding bass section. It features exceptional materials and an advanced graduation pattern. The hand-applied spirit varnish accentuates the well-seasoned spruce and well-figured curly maple back. The ebony fingerboard and four-piece French-style machine heads ensure an ease of use for your students year after year. The Model 300 cello is one of our most popular models. It was designed to maximize performance while minimizing your classroom expenses. Aesthetic savings were redirected into the most important element for your students. Can you guess what that was at this point? That's right, that graduation pattern. This cello sings. If you're looking for a cello for your high school that will empower your exceptional students, the Model 300 cello is an excellent choice. The Model 300 cellos and basses are purpose-driven, and they were designed to provide enhanced playability for your advanced students while balancing your annual budget. Money was saved on aesthetic elements and once again was reinvested into the playability and the internal construction of the graduation pattern. Shifting gears, let's look towards popular chin instrument options. The Two Rivers Strings Model 100 is West Music's rental instrument, but it's also a great solution for classroom purchases. It features a premium construction component list, and it has an extremely high playability for its price point. With components like French bridges, Whitner tailpieces, pearl core strings, graphite composite bow, and a plywood construction oblong case, it has all the bells and whistles you would expect to see. The material choice on the instrument itself, though, is worthy of a highlight. The Model 100 violin and viola utilize European tone woods in their construction. This material is sourced from the Carpathian mountain range, the same place where Mr. Stradivarius, yes, that Mr. Stradivarius himself, went for his materials. When used as a foundation for this instrument's advanced graduation pattern, it is a perfect mix for performance and tonal response. This instrument also has a variation available that is a valuable asset for you as the leader in your classroom. The 5-string version is a great educational tool that will allow you to demonstrate directly the violin and the viola part, as well as easier demonstration of the cello part, all without having to swap back and forth between a traditional violin and viola. The Two Rivers Strings line has a wide variety of step-ups to offer to classrooms or players as well. Often, educators find themselves in a position to be a trusted advisor for their students and their parents. West Music recognizes that their customers have a wide variety of potential and music demand. Whether your students are just having fun in the classroom, or maybe they're on a long-term professional journey, taking them down the path of education or professional performance, the Two Rivers String line product line has an instrument designed to empower your students musically. With that, we can open it up to questions. Does anybody have any questions about any of the products that we reviewed today?
If anybody has any questions, feel free to just unmute and jump in, or just type in the chat. No problem. If not, we really appreciate the time today, Jason. It's been very, very informative. I think we all understand why Two Rivers should be in our classrooms, right?
Absolutely, they'd be a perfect addition to the efforts you guys are putting in on a daily basis.
And we have to remember it's all about the graduation pattern, right?
It is all about that graduation pattern.
Yeah.
And, we worked really hard to ensure that it scales appropriately through the different models, and that each scale, each level that we've produced really provides an exceptional value dollar for dollar. That's what's most important here, right? We're not expecting our laminate instruments to compete with a Stradivarius cello. What we are trying to do is ensure that through that graduation pattern, that laminate instrument is going to be the best performing solution while maintaining that durability.
Yeah, and to just bring attention to something that you said multiple times, there are a lot of different configurations that we can do on these instruments. So, as teachers might have questions or want to, add on or change something, strings or things like that, different bows to come with the instruments, cases, things like that. We can do all of those things, but we just need to be able to clearly define it. So those options are available, and we're definitely willing to work with all of our teachers on making those things possible. So. Well, if nobody has any other questions, thank you much for being with us today. Again, my name is Alex Beamer, Director of Band and Orchestra from West Music. We appreciate Master Luthier Jason Bartel being with us today. And with that, we will release you and have a great rest of your day.